go out earlier on. FUT to take the series. Is it 2-0 or is there competition?
I would lean towards a 2-0. I'll be honest with you. I think FUT have come in as one of my favorites to do some real damage this season. I think they're in a great spot in terms of the upgrades that they've made. And Heretics are brand new. Like, they've got a lot of very, very young players, 18-year-olds looking to make a mark. One so young he can't even play. And we are now into our pistol round. Some unique comps we haven't really seen before. And I'm excited to see what these guys have got planned.
Now already you're seeing the B side under a lot of pressure as FUT put in a decoy. CNED claiming the space, and they've taken it right off the back. Breach stun still locked and ready to be used because B isn't their final destination. They're moving all the way around. The A side challenge. Banji loses his utility alongside his life. And Patatek now is sort of isolated up there on top A. They might be forced into a retake.
I don't know how they're going to manage to do too much here. Patatek left blind already. It's going to be able to hold on to some of the space. That's the main thing here. Just having a little bit of ground so they can fight back in. The rotation's coming through, but the main man I'm looking at, well, is Mr. Fallen. If he has anything to do in the late round, Mitch, because they've already lost another member.
Yeah, they've already thinned out those numbers pretty efficiently. For Team Heretics, a way back in is looking unlikely, but well, it's a pistol. You're always going to try it. Mr. Fallen sending out that long play to end the game. The rest of his team just needs to buy time. Hold on, he's been spotted, but that doesn't matter. Clean shot by Mr. Fallen. Cracks taking advantage of the chaos, and it is going to be a flawless start from the squad of FUT. 5 ghosts, both starting the round in their hands and ending the round on the enemy team.
Yeah, and Andaluthia flawless to kick off the game, and honestly, it's not the start you want. Like, if you're a young team, you want to get hyped, you want to get going really early on in this match, give yourself a little bit to celebrate, and for kind of shutting that down very early on. And this is one of the risks. It was said by Sue on the desk, like, picking into a map that last year, okay, I feel like towards the end maybe went a little bit worse for FUT, but one that they were ultimately confident on the entire year. And I think the only reason they got worse was because they didn't really change anything, because their old comp was so good for them. You're going to take them there, but that means you have to start defense. And this map historically has been very attack-sided. Like, a lot of teams able to even lose a half 10-2, still come back in the end.
I like the idea here from Team Heretics to play early aggression on A main. We're going to see that from a lot of teams, I think, on those ecos. Running it down, trying to challenge, using up their flash as well from the get-go to slow any sort of assault. But FUT are patient, right? They can just play the map control on this, 2 on each extremity, 1 up the middle, and it's a waiting game, seeing when Heretics are going to take that step out of place. Expectations for this round, especially here, like, now that they've been pushed to spreading across the map, I don't expect Team Heretics to get a lot done. If they can find a couple of kills, it'd be huge.
It's not looking great.
It's not, is it? As expected, though.
Does your curse still carry on? Do we carry that on from last year?
They win at 2v5 now. I'll accept it, but
okay.
They're doing the right thing grouping up, but the first challenge is going to be out of captain. This isn't the guy that's been slapped.
Sorry, what was that?
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. The rest of the rounds will be secured nicely.
Yeah, 4 players still. They're going to manage to keep up those extra rifles as well, so this bonus round is going to have, well, I was going to say a little bit of bite, but they've actually bought back up on the remaining rifles as well, so this is going to be a tough one. You have to bear in mind as well that you do have a couple of those sort of low armor players. And well, in all honesty, only 1 man currently on the board in terms of the fragging department. This is where you want to see Heretics really turn things around.
As these barriers go up and rifles are in hand, that same challenge over A main. We saw it with Classics before, and, well, FUT just ignored it. They see that same utility, and the response is, well, not exactly the same. Last time, they defaulted across the map, 2-1-2. Now, 5 on the left-hand side. Nobody else anywhere to be seen. It's going to be a C push by the looks of things. For Team Heretics, that puts the pressure onto Patatek and Banji. The thing is, if you look at the agents they're playing, those are the perfect agents to lock down a site, so to speak. We'll see if they can actually find the value for it already. Bypassing utility with the Yoru, but he's isolated. You know, he's kept back for a moment. What's happened to Banji?
Oh, he's got a little bit lost. It feels sectioned into the back corner of the site, and well, that 1-man army hasn't managed to get anything done. In fact, they are slowly being wiped out. The lurk of Yedajay as well is going to put another in the dirt. And well, I'm already starting to get a little bit worried. As said, for a team with little experience, brand new on the block, you want a good start. You don't want to allow FUT to start running away with things. And I don't feel like they've had to do anything too crazy. Like some fairly basic executions. I'm also, I want to say, I'm excited to see CNED's Yoru, mainly for reasons of, has it got better than when it was on the last team? Because obviously, one thing with Yoru, I feel like communication is actually really important. Like the timing of everything, we saw him flash teammates quite a lot last year, but now he's communicating in Turkish again. Yedije, well, he's going to make it even more costly for them. A chance for Miniboo to at least get onto the board, maybe hold the gun, but caught going down the rope. And a 3-0, very clean as well from FUT.
Yeah, it's the upgrades, it's the kills being so dominant. And the fact that you have that little slip up, the jitters on stage, stepping into the aftershock. Now look, where did he have to go? There was utility behind him. Maybe you could have found a small gap, but it's the fact that he gets trapped in that situation in the first place. You have to give commendations to FUT for having that execute so well planned out before they even set foot on the site. They have a player down.
I thought there'd be like a reaction or something there from the coach, so they're just like...
They're just accepting their fate for now.
That did happen. Our representatives of the UK scene. I know Mitch is a big fan.
You know me, Tom. Just can't get enough.
To be fair, I've been watching a little bit of Polaris, and there are some Irish players up and coming. That you can finally build a 5-player team of Irish players.
Wow.
Genuinely.
Tom said something nice about the Irish scene. This is going to my...
I was impressed.
It's going to my diary. Remember, in this day...
They also played a Deadlock, so, you know, they're innovating as well.
I do wonder when we're going to get to see some Deadlock here. It's a team that's very much looking to innovate. We'll pull it out eventually. Team Heretics. Lots of players walking through that orb, and CNED, ooh, he almost got caught. The flash is good. The damage is even better. Ada Captain's down, and CNED doesn't want anything to do with this. Backing off a little bit, popping the flash to slow them, but they're going to redirect to B. Team Heretics are here ahead of them, though. Miniboo sure is already there, but here comes Thrash coming close. Destroyed in time. Yedije can't hold on. Some good kills for Team Heretics. Some signs of life starting to shine through. C didn't work, B didn't work. What's next? Well, one left, isn't there? They're on their way to A.
And luckily, unlike most maps, they actually have a third option to go for. Boo actually has a full belt of utility, but doesn't even need it. That's going to be Mr. Fallen falling. And leaving just 2 players surviving for FUT a chance in this round. They've already committed an ultimate to it, Mitch, so for the Heretics side, this needs to be a win. You
know, they could go looking for upgrades. There are rifles sitting around, but it's all about time. They want to get up and in this fight quickly. Cracks alongside CNED, looking to hold the line, and CNED's good for the first. Cracks stepping in, ult available, but not needed. Well handled by Cracks and FUT. They get the round. I don't know they're going to be ecstatic about that up against Sheriffs, but hey, look, they saved themselves from a disastrous reawakening of Heretics early on.
Yeah, the fact is, they've got the budget, that it doesn't really matter too much. The last rounds, they lost 2 players total, so they've got plenty of finances available. That's the thing, though. When you're on the Heretics side, that means that this round needed to be a win. Like, it couldn't just be a round where you did a little bit of extra damage, because that's not going to affect your opponents whatsoever. And now they come in, you've used one of your ultimates, and they still have a couple left. The Dimensional Drift, Thrash available. The defense, well, they're not even going to give CNED a chance to do anything.
Yeah, he was stuck in this dimension, unfortunately. Not able to shift in time. It's the A site that's under threat.
It gave the thing of like, he's looking at you. It's like, he's not, he's dead.
He was looking at you. Not anymore. Well, the ult's going to be saved. Picked back up to use again. At least cleared out like a recon drone that you get a second shot at. The stun is good. That slowed them down. Benji Fishy, though, still steaming ahead. Taking the corner. Miniboo and Boo combined. They've given their team a real chance with just Mr. Fallen. Now 1 versus 5. What a clutch it would be. But not today. The first round is found for Team Heretics.
Yeah, I like the change of pace as well. I think that's always a worry when you lose those first 4 rounds, that you sort of fall back into your shell a bit. You go, oh, okay, let's let them take this map control on a map like Lotus. You can't do that. You have to challenge for space, and that initial aggression, well, they got a little bit lucky that CNED just happened to be starting out his ultimates, and they get a freebie kill, but from then onwards, it was almost like moving as a unit. Like moving as a core, just running around, taking these fights together.
Let's go, good.
You love seeing Benji getting hyped up. The smiles are out, and well, for the side of FUT, for 4 rounds, they were in the lead. Now turned to 3. Team Heretics get rifles. Ultimates start to come online, and what was a very much secured map can start to come into question. If they secure this round, though, the slippery slope is retaken by Heretics. 1 minute 30 on the clock. That A main aggression has been successful for Heretics, and FUT, they don't really manage to wrestle any control out of their opponent's hands. Pushing up on C to get an orbit is the most that the early round gets them. I have to wonder, what is their burst play? What is the execute that we're about to see happen? And, well, we can already see the shift in players towards that C side of the map. Again, challenging Patatek and Benji Fishy, two players that do well, two agents at least, and utility belts that do an excellent job when defending a site.
Lockdown thrown in. Not necessarily committed yet. They're waiting for someone to move off. I think Miniboo's expecting someone to get there. Luckily, he's a speedster, but not quite quick enough. It doesn't matter. They will be waiting it out anyway as the full team look to come in for the retake. Ultimates available, at least in the form of overdrive for Miniboo. Maybe he can try and take some space back in, but so far, FUT in these afterplants have been flawless.
They have been very hard to deal with, albeit this site perhaps gives some angles they could isolate duels on. A little bit more difficult now with the Cosmic Divide. They've got to go in blind. It has allowed them to sneak around the corner a little bit, but Krax has that angle locked, even pops a molly on it. Now the flash will go through in just a moment. There it is, blinding up some players, giving them a chance on the side of FUT as they wrap around the back, give up a little bit more control in favor of taking fights together. And those fights, well, they're not going excellently. Krax and CNED, though, quickly recover, leaving it onto Patatek, having to defuse underneath both players. No utility to deny. Players close halfway already, but it's not enough. Not by a long shot. 5-1 on the board.
There was a chance if he gets that kill onto Adacaptain, or maybe if he just goes balls to the wall and just decides to stick it all the way.
It might have worked if he stuck it. It might have.
That's the thing, though. You have to. You understand his decision. You have to assume that someone's coming for you at this point, especially with CNED still standing. Again, though, I do feel like for the side of Heretics, it is going to be based around those early fights. Like it seems like the second the site falls to their opponents, the afterplants of FUT are just too good. There hasn't been a way back in, and even as said, when they leave a gap, it seems like they expect what's going to come on the other side. I'm liking so far, though, like the dizzy flashes seem to be really good from both teams. Like there was 3 in terms of the league. He is a rookie, but he has played so well. He's already won a trophy with them, so it's hardly in that same sort of status as the players on the other side. Again, though, this is the exact start I was looking for from Heretics. Get that early aggression, deny Mr. Fallen as well. That is the smokes on the other side gone. Of course, we know that for Heretics, they've got that double controller, but it isn't the same at the moment for FUT. So now is whether or not they're going to be able to pivot. And Boo, this is a nasty surprise.
Oh,
maybe not.
Shoulder peek actually saved Yedijay's life, even allowed him to deal more damage than received. Some of Heretics who've constantly been flashing and bombarding this part of the map with utility for a 3 stack on A. That's kind of been read. FUT are seeing that that space is wide open and the B site is theirs. They might even want to take it further.
Yeah, I'm also worried just how low some of the players are. Boo 2 HP, Benji on 17. Like, anything could take him out. Even the extra clipping you now take from the Molotov flash through, and they've taken an awful lot of space. Like, look all the way back on the A site. You've still got Adacaptain. You've got to push through the C-Link as well. Like, at the moment, Heretics on this retake are playing with no ground, but they are stacking up together. A real good chance for trades, and in fact, Miniboo's going to win his second duel already.
This is where they stand the best chance up against a squad like FUT. If they can just use all their guns at once, trade off each other, and have a few missed shots. Krax not able to hit it to start it off. This is getting a little worrying as Heretics steamroll the site and take a second round at long last. Okay, they might not have started hot, but they're warming up.
Yeah, and actually, again, it seems to be based around these sort of aggressive defensive side pushes. I'm really liking some of these early fights from Miniboo. He's someone, again, another youngster coming into the league who I think especially starting off on a defensive side neon to kick off your career in the VCT, it's not easy. It's a real difficult thing to do, but 7 and 5 right up there at the top of the board. And he's winning a lot of these early fights. The supportive utility as well that's coming through from Rians. He's someone, I'll be honest, I'm very sad that he hasn't been able to get here because I'm really hyped to see him play. Like, I think, although we've got talk around the likes of Woot, and he might actually be the most exciting player on this roster.
Yeah, he was so much fun to watch in the home ground circuit, and, well, I'm sure we're going to get to see him make his LAN debut in some time, but for now, at least he's still able to participate, and Heretics can show all that they've been working for. So far, it's got them 2 rounds on the defense, but there's plenty more to be played for, and you can see that FUT are abandoning what has been some challenges, at least info gathering on A main, instead looking towards B. Perhaps they've sniffed out a weakness, or perhaps they just know that they can easily pivot as the round goes on.
patient stuff again. A lot of this map comes down to almost just baiting sound. I'm going to open the door a few times, but I think that's one of the things that's been quite cool with the usage of Dizzy. I think back to players like Cloud even using it once last season, where it's just like you just throw it straight up in the air, hope that it gives you a little bit of extra information. For now, though, once again, this B site ensues. Marian straight through the smoke has managed to pop 2 heads of the FUT side. This B site has been the least successful of the ones they've gone for so far. And in fact, if they even attempt to double back, they've got 2 players to deal with.
Yeah, and one a little closer than they'll be expecting. Miniboo has one hell of a spot here. The flash comes out, reveals him, and he's blinded, taken down. Still got one for his trouble. Despite being blinded up, Boo's even got a flash of his own, and with the paranoia in play, Mr. Fallen didn't stand a chance. Well handled by the side of Heretics, and now we're starting to see that foothold gained.
Yeah, and as I said, especially on this defensive side, the more rounds you can garner, the better spot you're going to be in. Like anything, even like a 7-5 half in favor of the attack is a very, very good half. So I think now with FUT's economy on the brink, but they do have some very solid ultimates behind them. Now, one thing I'll say with them at the moment, that I understand these fast attempts into the B site, but I don't think that's been their success so far. Taking those extremities, making sure that, well, basically Heretics can't get into the position they just did, because they managed to have so much map control on that A site without FUT even realizing.
Yeah, this has been the part I feel like has been fought for, certainly on Heretics side, every single round.
Yeah.
They got pushed back once, maybe twice, but for the most part, they have held onto that tooth and nail. The 2-stack late on into the round. We're seeing it yet again over on that A site. Gecko and Omen, while the rest of the players look to rotate, reinforcing the contact that was seen on C. Door opens though. Now it could be a B hit. They have to stay a little bit more spread. And this is where FUT like to breathe the round. Make your opponents spread out, make them worry, make them second guess, and then they can blitz into a site that's hopefully not as secure as before. But as we can see, they're still waiting, and they're in good spots.
They've not fallen for the ruse. With their aggressive spot on A as well, I think they're quite confident in that B site retake. I love the fact that FUT are just tapping that button again and again, trying to bait players in, but it has not worked. Still 2 looking to defend, but they are falling back that little bit. Now with 40 seconds left, it looks like FUT are finally going to make their move.
Flash was in, CNED's got the space. The challenge though, tough when he's rocking that pistol. Snakebite will buy them some time, 30 seconds on the clock. The numbers advantage certainly paying off with the plant even coming through. This could get a little bit scary if they keep losing players on the side of Heretics. Down to 3 already, a 3 versus 4, and there's utility in play. FUT have got a rolling thunder alongside Thrash. They could keep them way back on this, and that's exactly what they're going to do, buying so much time. A paranoia comes in, it does next to nothing, and Rians, well, he almost got caught by the decoy. Instead, he grabs a kill for free. Nice one onto Cracks, but he doesn't last too much longer with another kill from the stinger of Captain. All 3 kills have been his 4, in fact. A chance to take all 5. He's swinging and he gets it. We've just kicked off the MEA, and already your first ace from fan favorite Captain.
You can see the little smirk on his face as well. He knows that there was a little bit of BS in that one. 3 kills running in with a stinger. You go, guys, we're eco. Let's just see what we can do. Maybe we get a plant. Maybe we do a little bit of damage. It's working better than most people's rifles. And okay, cool. There was a few good flashes in there that maybe helped him out a little bit.
Whatever.
But he's shooting it from like meters away, just having a great time. FUT right back on the board, and I will say that C site has been a vulnerability. Like, they have been able to get in far too easily, and so far I feel like Benji has maybe been struggling a little bit.
Okay, flash broken, a return flash from FUT's breach as well, tries to keep Heretics back, but look, it's just so difficult to try to wrestle the control out of their arms. CNED, what are you doing? There goes the stun, he's out, the shorty in hand, CNED, it's disgusting! Absolute filth! And now an isolated Boo, he's standing alone, taking head after head. So much damage done, but come on, how many more shots can this man hit? He's stuck in a... Never mind! What a shot from Boo! What a series of shots!
Oh, this is ridiculous. Like, the start to this round was CNED getting 2 kills, 2 players, not just 1, 2 players when he's messing around in his ult. And then somehow Boo just goes, "It's all good, lads.
It's the fact
I've got this one."
They opened the door for him as well. You know, if they left that 2 seconds, everything's fine.
He's just chilling.
And the door opens, he comes out, the stun hits, the shorty kills, the upgrade. And then for Boo to claim the round like that, he can basically, bar CNED, every time he fights someone, he should be fighting 2, 3 players, but he gets away with it.
Now, one of the things I will say is the benefit of playing the Viper on this map, I don't think that ever happens. You almost always have a snake bite up on the boo spot the boo is currently standing on.
True, yeah.
Again, though, a pacey hit. Adacaptain, he doesn't have his stinger this time. He's got a rifle. I don't know if that's an upgrade or not. Thrash being thrown through, but again, this ult a lot of the time is just used for information. It's so weak that the bullets can take it out with too many problems. The fact is, though, Heretics have been saving those ults. They're throwing them all into the wind at this point, but there's a counter.
Yeah, the counter lockdown is quite a problem. It's going to buy them so much time. And the sneaky position being held by Adacaptain, oh my, he was just checked, but they didn't see his head as he was crouched down behind the box. And now, as they push forward, Heretics need to be worried about their back, but they are. They won enough duels on site. They could look behind. They didn't need to worry. Now the defuse, but Yedijay just on a Sheriff. There's no way he denies it.
Yeah, really nice round. Obviously, this is more of what we expect to see. And Andalucia flawless coming out for Heretics this time. They've really started to build into this one. Bear in mind, this was a 4-0 start for FUT, and we were almost worrying exactly what most people thought. A team that made it top 8 at Champions facing off against a team of rookies. You kind of expect an absolute slaughter. And instead now, 6-5.
I mean, we thought that this was going to be flawless on the side of FUT. A lot of people did, or close to. Instead,
I'm included.
Andalucia flawless for Team Heretics in that round. So now, we bounce back to round number 12, the final one of the half, and some serious contention from that defender side. Not only the op on Benji Fishy that, well, maybe not as scary as I thought, but it's the ultimates in play for the rest of the squad. That Viper's pick going up could seal the fate of the side of FUT. All they need to do is deny that site control, but with CNET around, that's so difficult to do. Nice kill.
Yeah, good start. A chance to take this half in the direction we expected it. Panitek. It's a gamble and a half. Spamming through a Viper's pit with a Vandal, you basically just gave them all the information they could ever need to find you. And well, now it is just man going down and down and down. Cracks with another, leaving just Miniboo 17 HP in a 1v5, do you believe? Rebel Clutch, maybe?
Yeah, it would be impressive. It might be the play of the year before he even gets started.
Yeah, first game, we might as well throw it in.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think it was a couple of bullets away.
To be. And what's that, Tom?
It's Andalucia, flawless.
All right, we'll get a rating from Uli and Bea later.
Oh, Bea's going to give me a 0 out of 10 every single time. There's a few
just at his fight
in there that I'm not quite getting.
I'm not sure that's what's in there. But anyways, yeah, look, a much more competitive start than most people expected. Again, you know, talking about the 2 games today, later on, there is some debate. There are some people who would see it swing the other way.
I would say, yeah, I think a lot, maybe like a 60-40, something like that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of
people seriously. But
yeah, same.
But no, for the side of Heretics, not many people had high expectations.
Here we go.
And now, the pistol round starts out with confidence from the side of FUT. They are looking to put them right back in the dirt.
Heretics, yeah, I'm back at tier 1. This is going to be fun. Just gets insta-flash and dead within 20 seconds of the round. He's the lurk player as well. And the problem now for Team Heretics, you have lost too much ground to go anywhere other than C, really. I think you can see the stack up on one side. Yedijay, the prodigy, the young Turkish player left on this side of the map, but ultimately, just going to have to give it up. And you've got a man advantage. You don't really need to take the risk.
Yeah, Cracks, Yedijay, Adacaptain, everybody grouping up. CNET's just made it to the rest of the squad. Everybody is coming from the spawn side, bar 1. Mr. Fallen, a little bit late to it, but he's regrouped as well. Lots of pistols and the numbers advantage, but will it be enough with time ticking away? FUT need to pick up the pace. That stun's not quite going to catch Miniboo, so he's still good for this fight. No flash from Adacaptain. He's taken out immediately, but a quick flurry of frags gives FUT the upper hand by quite a bit.
Damn.
Easily closed out in the end. 5v4, and 4 are left alive on the side of FUT. Not bad, only 1 man lost.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing again about the Gecko utility. That mosh, you can just throw it into that back corner, and it not only does a little bit of tick damage now, but it forces everybody into the open. You combine that with a flash or 2, which they have in spades with the breach as well. It just puts you in a position where you've got nowhere really to stand anymore. Like you can see it, they're all being forced out into these open positions. And it is quite a big surface area with the Mosh. Not quite as big as Bren was saying it is. He claimed it was bigger than Orbital Strike.
I remember that.
Because he's a bit insane. But we love you, Bren.
He's a lunatic.
But yeah, it's a great piece of utility for those retakes. And now 8-5. FUT now have themselves the second pistol. It should realistically guarantee them the victory, or at least in most cases, like getting that sort of step in front.
No, your win rate should be skyrocketing, surely. But with such a close game, and the fact that Team Heretics, the first sign of life we saw from them was all pistols, sheriffs, mind you, but they'll look to replicate it here. Very little to work with. Bye for next round. The attacking side of Heretics playing this map like a fiddle, looking for the orbs, grabbing one, and they'll start to move out. See if any others are left unguarded and untouched. Nice wall as well for A to get them up close, which is exactly what you want to do with these pistols.
Yeah, they're just getting as many orbs as possible. You can see for FUT, they're not even really looking to play the map too much just because they don't want to give any weaponry over to the other side. They're getting information each time an orb is tapped, or again, if you see the Dizzy thrown out, it's just so much for them to play with that they don't really need to move. And you can see they're set up with utility. Anybody attempts to get anywhere near this site, they're getting stunned up. Again, it's the same as last time. If they can get any kills, do any real damage here, that's great. A plant would be nice, but ultimately we don't expect much.
No, Yedajay might have a challenge here. If he decides to back off, they can play the retake. If he goes down, though, now they start to get a little bit worried. Isolated duels. And that's what I was worried about. I wanted to see Yedajay play for the late round, but I understand why he stays. You're only up against pistols. This time, though, Miniboo gets the better of him. The numbers advantage now staggeringly in favor of Team Heretics. And if you're FUT, you have to rely on a big individual play.
If he throws a mosh in this corner, are they just all going to run out at once? Like, they're all stuck in the back, and the flash has caught everybody. A little bit of counter utility, even still that advantage sits. The manpower is there. Now the mosh is going to go into that corner, and they can't even push out. They can't go anywhere. So he's just going to stick to the defuse. They're all coming, running back. The spam, however, has found that diffuser. It's left all onto Cracks, and Rians is going to pop his head as that. The thrifty found, and, well, Heretics have bounced back very quickly indeed.
Yeah, like I said before, it was with Sheriffs. This time, I really had very little faith in anything coming of that past damage, but for them to isolate those 2 kills so quickly as well, because Miniboo, you know, once he finds that kill, you see this swing come out, because of course your teammate's going to want to help you, and he's dropped on the spot.
I will say as well, like, if you look back at last year's Heretics, I definitely think that Boo's individual form was called into question. Now, don't get me wrong, he's back on his favorite role, and it's one map. So I'm not going to lose my mind. He's playing fantastic.
Yes.
He's had some high-impact rounds, this one being one of them, 3 kills in what was basically him playing with a classic until he got a Bulldog. He had that 4K earlier in the half. Currently sits top of the board. Like, you bring in all of this talent, and then Boo's your best player.
I really, like, I've been a fan of Boo for a long time, running back to 2020, I think, and you know, seeing him back.
So did you like him before he was cool, is what you're saying?
No, he was cool back then, Tom. I wouldn't take that away from him. But I liked him when he was cool back in the day.
Okay.
But I'm really glad to see him find that success, maybe find that mentor kind of role on this team. So I think it's always been a little quieter.
CNED's used his ult in this round.
He has.
Quite interesting.
He's committed.
He's actually managed to get another kill. Padatek is having a bit of a nightmare, I'll be honest. Only a couple of kills on the board, but the rest of the team doing work. We're not about to see back-to-back, are we? A 2v2 scenario. Time really is ticking, though. Cracks would have to do something utterly ludicrous. He has managed to find himself a rifle and can, at a minimum, make this one costly, but it's another triple kill for Boo. Moving further up the board. I believe that's his 20th kill of the game.
Not too bad. You know, in a game like this, you need a hero to step up. Everybody was counting them out, but now he's sitting nearly double the kills of his next player on the team.
What about how many more kills he got than Padatek? Is it 10 times? That's quite good.
You know, I wasn't gonna go there.
Oh, it's day one. We got to be mean. That's what they said.
Back, Padatek.
It was like the
Remember
story
last
being,
time
right?
we cast you? Sorry.
They were like, be mean. Or did they? No, actually, maybe that wasn't. Maybe I made that bit up. Either way.
I think you did. I think that was your own desire. You added that bit in.
8-7 though. Heretics again. They've been grinding back this comeback. An early TP, hunting for information. And Yedajay, well, he's under pressure here. Doesn't have a whole lot of support. There is a couple of utility players nearby, but he has decided, and rightfully so, I'm going to back off this one.
Spike planted.
Well, Rian's really had to back off. He's down to half, but he's got his ultimate to work with. Thrash to thrash him up. And he's from outside C. I mean, this is a very passive play. Most of that utility is going to be burned up by FUT on the way through. In fact, Thrash of their own is about to be thrown through. They're going to convert them, trade them 1-to-1. Unfortunately for Miniboo, he was not hitting his shots. not finding Thrash, instead being thrashed by CNED. Now the side under threat, and CNED's holding up close inside the smoke, halfway already. Those spams better come through. The diffuser is so low, but it's not low enough. 1 HP with the decay that was in play, but he gets out alive.
That's a Red Bull clutch coming through for FUT, and one that, well, after all of his teammates get slaughtered on the way through, maybe not one that was deserved. The one sort of saving grace, though, for the side of Heretics is, okay, they lost the round, but you don't really lose a round where your opponents, all of them die except one, and you get to keep all of your weaponry. Like, that doesn't happen very often in Valorant. So you now look at the buy that's on the other side, and it kind of sucks.
There are weaknesses, is how I'd say. But, you know, depending on how you use them, maybe they could be advantages. Look at Mr. Fallen. Judge in play. Holding B. The fight on A for Team Heretics. They fought for it every defensive round, and they'll fight for it here on the attack. Casualties taken for FUT. It's not ideal, because if they have to retake with Mr. Fallen, he's going to need to find an upgraded weapon. Maybe he can, just outside of the stairs, but it's a tough one. You're out in the open with a close-range weapon. Your opponents will probably take you down from far away. The A site, the safest place to plant. They don't know it yet, but they'll figure it out soon. And for the side of FUT, I'd love to see what their response is going to be. For now, it's just waiting and hoping their opponents run into them, but look at the position of Yedije. All the info's theirs now.
Take this.
The question is, he might actually be able to bypass. Yeah, he is. That Killjoy alarm bot, I believe, is offline. So he's been able to just run straight past. And I imagine Benji's going to move towards it, and that's going to sell them some false information that maybe he hasn't actually got past any of that utility yet. Definitely not ideal, but the fact is he'll have to open the door, and that will give it away. That will tell Benji. Well, I hope it does, otherwise he may have a few problems of his own.
Yeah, he'll have to go to the old ear doctor after that. The door is spinning. He has heard it. He's staring in on the angle, but he won't win the fight. 2 guns better than 1. Yedije had his turn to back him up, but Mini-Boo's backing up Team Heretics, just trying to run the clock now. Ring-a-ring-a-rosy right around the site. And it's Yedije sticking that defuse, but he'll be caught by a wide swing, sliding in with the round success. Mini-Boo, 4 kills. He's chasing his brother down.
Yeah, the Boo brothers are running away with it. Honestly, I've been impressed with him. Even if you just ignore the score tally, which is absolutely fine for a duelist, he's been finding a lot of really high-impact openers. And as we mentioned already, you've come up against, I'd say, one of the harder opponents, a team that didn't change a massive amount, someone that already beat you in the off-season, and someone that, I'll be honest, most people thought you weren't going to get anywhere near. And right now, 9-8, they're on the favored side of the map. They're starting to build into this one as well after what was some back and forth. And you look at the buy that's on the side of FUT, it doesn't really get much worse.
No, it certainly doesn't. Now, in the game so far, this is where that team, who seems to be down and out, somehow pulls out a victory. But we're going to assume that that's not the likelihood here. Team Heretics have the rifles. They can work towards ultimates. Patatek just 1 away from a Viper's Pit. On attack side, even better. Using it on defense, you either have to gamble or you have to use it to retake when they'll often be very close by. If you'd actually get close enough to the spike or to a valuable angle, you already need to have retaken the site most of the time. When it comes to the attack, though, you just get that site control, pop it straight down, and the round now skyrockets in terms of favor for you to win it. So it could be huge for them to have that moving in to round number 19 when FUT will buy rifles. For now, they just need to make sure they don't get ecoed. And Tom, I'm getting nervous. I'm starting to sweat a little bit because Team Heretics, they had the right idea. They went to C. They saw the Killjoy. And now they're moving back to that very heavily stacked up site.
They baited the opponents. That's what they believe, at least.
Not sure
the early presence.
Fully right on that one.
CNED's looking to get up close. He's got his ult if he needs to try and reposition, and it's perfect. The wingman is a distraction. Boo again. Oh, sorry, Mini-Boo again. Is going to be the one to get the opener. I think he's going to have the majority of the first bloods in this game. And now, well, any belief that you may have had for this round to go wrong should be at almost 0.
CNED, Yedije, Ada Captain, all tagged so low as well. Might even start to think about just grabbing those exit kills. again, we talk about damage being in the conversation in this round. The Team Heretics have a lot of credits built up as well. I mean, it would have to be a lot of damage for those ripples to be felt later on. Benji the first to fall, Rian's also. There's still time if they get on it very imminently, and I don't think that's going to happen. Another for Miniboo. 3 kills as he works his way towards the ultimate he just used not that long ago. And it's going to be nice and easy to round it out. A clean round as we equalize things 9-9.
Yeah, especially with how it could have gone. I think Heretics will be fairly happy with that. Still losing a couple of players, a couple of ult orbs facing in the other direction, but now we look towards FUT to see if they actually have a response, because I think something that's actually gone very well for Heretics so far is, again, just this sort of pack builder. Just moving as a unit. They've left the odd lurk here and there, but for the most part, they've just been basically keeping things quite simplistic. Like just going, okay, let's just trade things out together.
This one around.
Yeah, it does look as well like we're going to see a little bit of like this aggressive position in the middle. Just being built up around that B site. You can see already with like the fault line being built in just to try and give that extra little space if there's anybody there. Cena actually trying to force them back. He's almost trying to move them here. This is a set play being set up by his team. It's just if he can give anybody that extra little bit of information to find a frag. You can see he's even got a ping on the map at the back. Unfortunately, though, I think maybe just spotting like, oh, you see the guys, there's 4 people here. Maybe don't peek into that one.
I think he even might have seen all 5, did he, on the way through? It's hard to tell with that kind of pace, but I'm sure someone on the server's tracking it. And with that, I guess maybe giving them the comfort to push up on B, but that's about it. They've reset into the late round, 1 minute on the clock. Team Heretics, again, just grouping up 4 players, looking to try and get control over C. You know, looking to grab the orb, in fact, and then they're not sure. They're still deciding. With 45, they've got a bit of time, but, well, time to make it pretty snappy pretty soon.
Yeah, they've done decently well with their takes. The stuns to the back of site. It's not really a position that we've seen anybody play thus far. I think a couple of aggressive pushes from Benji earlier in the game, but it didn't really play too much. It's mostly been a C-site retake, and both teams have been good in the post plan. The Rolling Thunder makes it different. Yedajay, the focus was elsewhere, and he gets a freebie and stunned at the back of the site. Rians needs some help. They are blinded in so many different forms. This retake looks great from FUT so far, but there's still members standing, hoping to maybe try and spam through here. But the fact is that defuse is coming again. They have not been able to stop it any time on this C site. And it is, well, a very clean round in the end. Paditek, in fact, his lurk just a little bit too far behind.
I have to wonder, you know, when they planted that spike, did you see where Paditek was standing?
No.
Let me, after our little replay, I'll show you. Because it was not an ideal spot. The rotation time is, you know, a little bit excessive. A little bit excessive. So when they popped the spike down, he was right about, never mind.
Actively just to clear out such a big space. And then on the retakes, I've actually really enjoyed what we've seen from Adacaptain, whether it be with his ultimate or the stuns, because it just leaves you basically in a position where you're getting hit by something. You have to choose what you want to be hit by, and even if you dodge all of it, then you have a dizzy coming through and you're completely blind. It's so difficult to play against.
So they're running back the similar strat, 4 towards C, grabbing the spike, but this time they're doing it with 5. So Paditek's going to be here. You know, some of that slowing utility maybe will help out, but it's the pit. Now, the problem is obviously a lockdown on the defensive side, but we just saw Benji Fishy grab his ult orb, so now they can counter lockdown, and that could help a lot with keeping that pit up. If they do decide to go for it, maybe they've got a different idea. Having found so much space for free, they reshift their focus. Paranoia deep, push into spawn, and FUT, they better get their guns out soon when they round this corner. I'm not sure they'll expect them to be this close. Maybe the one way will give it away, but it's been thrown there before and there weren't players around. Not that deep.
Yeah, the fact is for Miniboo, it was, okay, if I can get something and get away. Now you're going to see that lockdown. It actually clears out the backlines. It is not really to do much more. The Viper's Pit is not within it, so they can still stick pretty much within this site, and the trades are going effectively, at least for the moment. Adacaptain's going to be able to find one, but the fact is a couple of the attackers are detained. Paditek needs to get something, and the flash is sublime. The remaining players were out the back of the site, but the defusal hasn't been coming. The fact is, though, they could just deny it completely. They have themselves the Cosmic Divine, and Mr. Mullins on the other side with the judge. It's absolutely filthy. The question is the time, and they... Oh, no, they don't have it! 0.07!
I thought that was locked down.
Oh, that is so ridiculously close.
Oh. I mean, look, the round that was in it, it's got cheers out of Benji, that's for sure. What an incredibly messy round, let's say. I think, you know, even playing close there from Patatek, he runs up to try and challenge inside the pit, losing those extra seconds, losing the extra decay, because the players are just stepping in as opposed to having been in the pit for quite a while. That was a risky play, and the flash was perfect to catch him, but I didn't expect it to end up flipping hands like that right at the end.
Yeah, they didn't manage to get the nano swarms off of the spike, but I believe they didn't matter anyway, because I think he would have had it. Unbelievably close, but the scoreline will be leveled up. 10-10, a battle, a brawl in our first map, and an exciting way to kick off VCT EMEA 2024. For now, though, it's back to more patient play. You have to bear in mind, both teams basically have just spammed their ults for that last round. There is nothing left on FUT side. And, okay, Boo can TP. If that's something that you're excited by, might be watching the wrong game.
Get that one in the highlights.
Cover going on.
Heretics all grouped up on A this time. It's going to be the same old strat. Move together. Just knock them down like dominoes. Ooh, Mini Boo just making it through the door. That was cinematic. Wall up, so no angle for Mr. Fallen to compete on. He'll try to spam, but he spammed right back. 3 players stood there, guns raised, ready for that fight. Benji on another fantastic shot out of this man, and that has put a spanner in the works. Cracks and out of captain, left to do it all. With the spike only being planted, it's not like they're running out of time.
Oh yeah, monster on the loose.
That could be a big problem. Oh, it's gone the wrong way, but it's okay.
For information, maybe expecting them to be a little bit closer. Again, all segmenting themselves in towards tree. This is something that clearly is planned by Heretics each time. Happy to just sit in this back corner. The peak together is perfect, and that's been the main talking point of this team. They are moving as a unit. They are peaking together. They are believing in the cause as well. And now they take themselves the lead for the first time in this matchup. Not a point I expected to be in, but they are looking fantastic. Like, look at the scoreboard at the moment. It is individual round after individual round for the side of FUT. They have not been able to string anything together.
And the worst part about that is their economy is just being destroyed. They're in a position now where they can barely afford to invest into pistols, let alone light shields or anything like that. You've got Ada Captain and Mr. Fallen coming in without them. What a pace change from the 4-0 start. FUT looking good. One shaky that was a shaky
You're going to try something risky at a round like this.
For sure. You got a pistol, why not? And it's worked for him sometimes.
Oh, yeah. The shorty play earlier was enough to make me believe in CNED's Yoru, but now at least it's still going to be the advantage in favor of Heretics. You expect them to get onto map point here with the weaponry that they have available to them. Not much utility either for the side of FUT, and they're spread across the map. Yadajay, probably the only one that can really put any sort of spanner in the works, but that's the thing with Heretics. They've been so patient so far. They've been happy to let that clock run down. They've been happy to continuously change up their direction late into the round, and now with a slow walk, they've tapped that door, but it has not really baited things out here. 2 players are heading in the right direction.
Yeah, hearing that turret sitting outside C, you sort of start to get the idea. Maybe Yedajay was calling it over to Mr. Fallen and Ada Captain. The stun goes in. Nice stun. It's caught them. 2 quick kills. Another followed up on. Mr. Fallen goes down to the snake bite. But he might have done enough with Benji Fishy alone having to plant this spike. There's nowhere safe in his mind to do it. These players could be anywhere. He knows where one is. But the other evaded him up until now. Yedajay about to round the corner, and he's going to catch him unaware. Oh, no! It's a complete whiff. Benji Fishy, 49 HP and a dream. It's not going to work out. A nightmare for the squad of Heretics. This could have been them 12-10. Oh, knocking on heaven's door instead. They're neck and neck with one hell of a fight to close out this map yet to come.
I can't believe they've taken that. That was 4 players, or at least 3, walking into that C site, and they lose to basically a singular flash and some sheriffs. It really does show that FUT can pull something out of absolutely nothing, and that has got to be infuriating. as we mentioned, like that would have been map point on their choice as well. Bear in mind, bind up next is chosen by FUT, and guys, I don't know if that was a sigh of relief or maybe the stress that could even be in with a shout of making it to Masters Madrid, the ultimate goal at this kickoff event. For now, though, look at the push from FUT. They have gone all the way through this C site, but in the meantime, under pressure, it's the man I just mentioned, and he's gone within a second.
He's done his damage, though. A player worth of damage, I suppose. But the problem is, whenever Team Heretics are able to wrestle that control out, run their trades, or just clean take the fights and gain control of site, they're not letting it slip. But Boo, familiar position, open the door, he calls, the utility's on its way, he needs to get out of there, and he has.
I love it.
That's very nice teamwork. Even the flash just to buy him a little bit of extra time. It will be returned on the other side.
Look at Mini Boo.
Not much to do.
Mini Boo's in such a ratty little position, but they're all going to go wrapping past. The Viper screen is almost a bit of bait just to give him some space. The question is, do they check for him? No, they don't. He's going to clear out a couple on their way back in. It leaves just Ada Captain and Wild. Good luck. Up against the lockdown. There's nothing to be found. And Benji, well, he has had a huge step up over the last few. A quiet start to this game, but actually, I think he's had a better attack.
You know, the off season, or even looking further, back to the last time we saw him over here in Berlin, Tom, he hasn't had a great time down there on the stage in a lot of the matches he's had. Now, well, not just him, it's his team, you know, they haven't found their success. Now hitting their stride up against one of the strongest teams that we saw in the EMEA last year. We talked about their consistency. We talked about how they just keep on getting better. It looks like Heretics have been doing exactly the same. They've made good use of their off-season time, and now just one round away from claiming victory. Nice position from CNED, but the shots aren't there. We talked about the weaponry. It's just not strong enough for a lot of these fights, and they are overwhelmed, leaving Yedege and Mr. Fallen to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a miracle. Yedege is only just starting his rotation, but that again, as said, like, I don't think Heretics have been a roster that have been just too quick to move. They're happy to just pause, hit the brakes. Boo's calling this game has been sublime, and well, now you can see the downs. Yedege's gone all the way back to the A site. He's still sitting on tree, just waiting for that rotation to come through. Mr. Farland's going to try and buy as much time as humanly possible. Well, he's pulled in Wingman at least, but other than that, all of his utility's gone. He's just going to have to hit the shots, and he does. That first kill has gone his way. He's even dinked up a second. Somehow the IGL might just be the hero that they need.
Oh! Now there's a real chance. I mean, he's backed out, he's bought time. The rotate from Yedege, it's going to be so long before he gets here. Maybe they walk back into him. Those players on Heretics, there's no easy choice for Boo and Patatek. Where do you take it on this one? Both smokers left alive, 2 snake bites to play with. You probably want to be around Mound. It's a good position, but it's out of position to stop that defuse. That's so unfortunate for Yedege with 86 HP. Mr. Fallen, 2 kills already. There's the third. He's only got 1 more, but Patatek's full. 150, a tough series so far, but he'll save them. Heretics find their map pick. Lotus is in the bag, and a much different...
They're actually running this song. So we've seen it in the past on this map, but the fact that both teams ran it on the first one, it makes it that little bit more exciting. And I am excited to see what sort of trap plays they've got, what sort of aggression they're going to have across this map. For now, at least, a little early peek coming out from Mr. Farlin over towards B long. And actually, he's going to go walking.
Some space taken on that drone. The TP going to be used. It's a fake for Miniboo being up close, trying to tempt any sort of spams through that smoke. Nice paranoia. Great work by Ada Captain. Many blinded players, but Miniboo must just have been fading for him. Nice snake bite down on the floor. It's caught a few while Patatek swings out wide for a double. Boo on another, leaves FUT way behind. It's only cracks. 1 versus 3.
Only.
No info of where these players are. He's got every corner to clear and not enough time to clear him. Ball shots.
That's going to be himself, Mr. KO, but unfortunately, slight spoiler, he's going to go down. Either way, 1-0. Heretics again, but you have to bear in mind they didn't win either of the pistols in the last map and still won the map, which, as we've already mentioned in the past, normally you're looking at like an 80% chance to win the map if you manage to get yourself both pistols. So the fact they've now got off to a flyer of the start, the fact that, again, it just seems like a lot of these supportive flashes out of the side of Heretics have been fantastic. clearly pumped up and ready to go. This defensive side of FUT, not off to a flyer, and it's not going to be much invested into this one whatsoever.
Standing ahead.
And we talked about Heretics last map, sort of needing to start out hot, and they warmed up pretty quickly. Moving into this map, no signs of slowing. FUT, pistols, all classics bar one, the upgrade on CNED, the professor himself. Now, this guy's been able to hit a set of wonderful shots so far on this map. Historically, yeah, he's the guy you'd give it to, but yeah, it's a big task for anyone to take home. Not even shields on their back. I am curious about a lot of the utility we're seeing in play for Team Heretics as they move on through this attack side. I think Miniboo must have some crazy attempts to map control out of Captain. And Cracks, they had their own attempt. They tried to move up and get map control instead. A bullet to the back and a plant on the A side.
Yeah, you can see already Mr. Farland going wandering, maybe to try and isolate the duel on the player that just managed to take out a couple of his teammates. And he may just get that chance, but Boo is more than aware. As I said, he has been fragging like crazy in the last map, top fragger, alongside his baby brother. Now, well, he might even be able to go in for an ace here, and only one man remaining. Unfortunately, he is absolutely nowhere near where Boo is going to be coming from. Mini Boo, though. Oh, he's not even going to be able to find the shot. CNED still ever deadly, but Benji is going to be there to close out the round. 2-0 for Heretics, a clean one at that. But now we get into the nitty-gritty, the buy rounds.
Good to see Boo already off to a flying start, hitting those shots. You know, this is a guy that had a hell of a good first map. While IGL in this squad, he is leading from the front, but the reality is, when I see him swap over off of an Omen, I have question marks. I loved his Omen back in the day. It's, I think, his most comfortable agent, and someone like Astra just doesn't give him the same sort of abilities typically, at least solely looking at his utility belt. It doesn't give him that same ability to duel and to take fights as before. It removes him from a lot of action. But that's fine, because he's 5-0 right now, so he's involving himself.
It's much more like a hard lurk. Your utility needs to be held from a distance, and communication is almost key. Miniboo has already taken so much space. You can see the pressure at the moment that Heretics are coming under, but they have managed to eliminate him, and the rest of the squad still looking for that space. Boo on these late lurks around the corner has been winning every single fight that's put in front of him. Still, though, the majority of the defense is just waiting. An attempted plant here, definitely not going to be easy.
They've already lost CNED to them, who feels like the duelist on the other side, certainly the top fragger of Heretics, and they're worried about Boo, about where he's going to come from and when he's going to come on in. But his team are... Oh, hold on, he's about to be challenged. The swing just to come through. Boo easily wins it. This guy is just looking unreal. He didn't even take a hit there. I waited in case the HUD was slow, but no. 150 HP still to work with, but he's got more to do. Kill after kill needed from Boo. Another chance, but this time his luck finally runs out.
Yeah, unable to get themselves into position, into the after plant, and because of that, FUT eventually are able to isolate those fights. It is unusual that you manage to see that ult come through to try and give them at least a little bit of extra space, but it's the fact that they had that flank. I think that was the main factor there, and a Captain being able to come in from behind just caused them so many issues, not having that lurk as they did in the prior round. Even still, though, it is going to be another purchase coming in for Heretics. No real struggle at all, in fact. They've got plenty of finances to play with. And on the other side of things, Mr. Fallen, well, the thing is, he's already down to a judge. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe he'll be in hookah, but actually not. I think he's going to end up in lamps. And CNED, his defense has... It's been an offense, really. And he's been dead within the first few seconds of almost every single round.
Fly with me, let's fly, let's fly away. Okay, we're back. And it looks like we've... You know, we got to see a nice aerial angle of CNED falling. He's not had a lot of fun in those early duels, Tom. You know, his Yoru certainly got him up close. It got him involved. His Neon, it's done the same, but he's not involved in the way he wants to be. Losing a few of these, giving Heretics the advantage, losing a faster rotator player as well. But really, it's just this man's aim that we're looking for. It's his prowess individually. Now out of the server, someone else has to step it up.
Cutting through.
Again, actually shooting off. Maybe trying to bait for the fact that a Captain's in this corner, but the fact is I think they spotted enough players to realize there's nobody on the A site anymore. They've heard the TP, they've heard the players on their rotation, and now Miniboo, he's going to use that dimensional drift just to find out every single piece of information. and almost to the fact that, okay, they're only just making their way back in. He's actually gone back around behind them. He's even spotted the player in heaven. Is he actually going to go for this? He does! But Yedaje is quick enough on the trigger to give the man advantage now over to FUT.
Well, that 4 versus 3, certainly a lifeline provided for FUT with an overextension from this attacking side. They haven't got a lot of control either. 2 players trapped inside a lamp, swinging out wide. Good kill for Boo. He just keeps on hitting shots. Finally, he falls, but Patatek's good for the trade. Flash still to play with, and he'll catch the kill. No need to swing. Benji Fish, he's gone running. Thought maybe the defuse was being stuck. Now the 1v1 forces Patatek in an uncomfortable situation. He needs to check it's not being defused. Flash goes out, swing is in, and a captain taps yet again. Here's the final swing, the final fight, and Patatek comes out on top.
Yeah, it's already looking like a much different player being put onto the KO. Obviously, the main reason he's come in as a substitute is that depth of agent pool. He can play an initiator, he can play a smoker, he can play a duelist if you need it be. And right now, well, I feel like he's almost a mix of the initiator and the duelist. 5 and 1, right up there alongside Boo. And wow, this was around the... Again, I feel like with the early start, they probably should have taken it, but it did come down to those clutch plays from him. 3 and 1 in the lead. Again, we're looking at a similar scenario to the defense of the last map where FUT are able to get themselves onto the board, but they're unable to convert anything more than an individual one. And again, CNED, well, I feel like they're just expecting at this point, you know what? Okay, within the first 15 seconds, CNED's going to run at us. This is the first time he's actually got anything. He's still fighting with 5 HP.
Don't go back out there. I mean, we talk about spraying through smokes with a Vandal. I mean, this is a little bit worse. It's just a laser.
Yeah, I wonder where he is. Oh, that big blue pointer's probably going to give that one away.
Over there, is he? Well, he's regrouped with his teammates now, 5 HP. Let's see what he can do. Maybe just draw their eye, be a distraction. Patatek had no idea there were players this close. Now a real challenge for him, and it's seen it. The 5 health warrior to pick up that frag, move down, recover
Please tell me he's
rifle.
going to give the gun to someone else.
The rotation's on the way. He must.
Okay, thank God. I got 2 kills, you know. The shorty up close is ratty from Mr. Fallen. But again, there must be an expectation there from Heretics. Again, they've struggled against these pistols once or twice throughout the game. Benji, though, it looked like he was going to be dead to rights, but Mr. Fallen not quite quick enough.
Yeah, just a little bit faster on the trigger. But look at this position from Boo. He's been so good in aim duels, so he tries to force them into fighting him. CNED stuns won't land. He's been revealed, and he's 5 HP, rifle in hand. 1 versus 3. Most people would save. Everyone else would save. CNED will not. But he goes down. And it's all right, because they can come back into the next, but 4-1, the lead starts to slip out of FUT's hands. They were in this very same position on the previous map. It looked like the series was in the bag when we saw this bracket published. And yet here we are. They are by far looking like the weaker, well, not by far, by a couple rounds, but so far on this map, there's not a lot to write home about.
I think especially when you consider expectations.
That's the thing.
The main thing.
This is incomprehensible to me coming into today.
No. Yeah, it shouldn't have... But shouldn't really be going this way based on...
I mean, Boo is 10 and 2.
Yeah. No matter how much hope you had for Heretics, maybe you're a Spanish caster with a Heretics jersey, I don't think you expected Boo to just be out fragging everyone in this server. Either way, a fantastic start, a fantastic first map, and they're already in on the plant. They don't have any abilities to play with because of cracks, but... Oh, sorry, because of Patatek now, they don't have any on the other side as well. Either way, Thrash thrown through. FUT are expending a lot into this round to try and get something done. The fact is, though, still yet to find a kill.
Ooh, just ran out of ammo at the wrong moment. Patatek could have been down, but Boo and Patatek have fallen in the end. Mini Boo to follow. Benji Fishy's out of the game. Rian's trying his best, but Rian will be done. Nothing to be found.
A good resurgence from FUT. Obviously, it did take a few ultimates to be thrown in. It wasn't like they just got back into that site with nothing. And again, throughout this game so far, I have been liking that pace from Heretics, switching it up quite regularly. This is the problem, though. You have to bear in mind, the last rounds weren't particularly clean. Even with the couple of kills in the one, and then you obviously have Patatek clutching things out, their finances are not great. You got Rian's looking to buy him with a rifle here, Patatek with a stinger after what I saw Ada Captain do, maybe. Just maybe there's some sort of belief to be had in that weapon, but fact is, this, when you're 4-1 up going 4-2, this is not the buy you really expect to see from the attacking side.
No, a few more weaknesses there. than you'd even want to dream of. Boo. A big weakness, 23 HP after an early spam. And you know what? I do feel like that angle, at least, there's a bit of karma owed towards FUT. CNED gave his life there a few rounds in a row. Finally, they're finding success. That wall drop. 2 players out wide, pistols in hand. I thought it could have been a disaster, but instead, it's worked out for the attacking side. If they can keep it down to those one-on-one trades, that's fantastic, but the health is starting to dwindle on their side. That Viper's Pit could save them a lot of trouble, though.
Yeah, this is one of the only things that I think could potentially bridge the gap of what is the weaker weaponry. They still have a bit of utility to play with. It's actually going to be used by Rians to try and just maybe get them something through that pit, but already Captain is going to remove Panatek, leaving them with a disadvantage. More util thrown in off the back of the paranoia, but Rians still standing strong. Another for him, leaving it into that 2v2, and Benji has dipped out of the pit, just trying to buy that extra little bit of time. Needs to take down the wingman who's already on it, and now it's all left on to just one man, Mr. Fallen, to try and find anything. It is already half, so the peak caster comes through, but Benji, again, will help them take home a round that, I'll be honest, they shouldn't have.
Boo went down to 23 health at the start of that. He was still alive at the end of the round in the 2v1. You know, and a valuable extra person to have. Otherwise, maybe you just tap that swing, that player in lamps. You know, it really does have an effect. His impact on this series could be studied so far. And I couldn't be happier to see a man succeed than this guy. And Benji Fishy, well, he also takes it. The 3 kills. The squad now leading by 3.
The thing they did really well there was you had those sort of the players that didn't have as much to lose playing very aggressively, and then you had the players with the utility and the weaponry, very passive, very patient, really controlled in their positioning in the form of Benji and Boo. It was well played, but again, it's a round where you're looking at it from their perspective and going, okay, they have 1 rifle, they use a Viper's Pit, and FUT didn't really seem like they could do anything. And this is the attack side of Bind right now. This is looking rough for FUT.
They're going to TP deep on A. They've done it all the way through. A crazy play by Miniboo. He's not finding anyone. The rest of the squad's just dying all around him. Ooh, easy peasy. I mean, I thought it was a ballsy play for Miniboo to just go behind them, but in the end, he's still just stood there, holding the same angle, while the rest of Heretics have cleaned up the fights, leaving it down to just Mr. Fallen and Captain. Just
No, not again.
Captain with a sheriff.
They did this before. A 2v4 scenario. All they had was pistols to play with, and somehow they managed to take it home. If they do it back-to-back, we'd just have to give them the props they deserve, but not this time. Heretics are not going to allow them away back in. 6 rounds already on attack. That's a very good half already for Heretics. They are starting to run away with this, and I almost wonder when a pause comes through for the side of FUT, because this is getting out of control.
It really is, you know, and a conversation we were having backstage with some of the French casters and the Spanish ones is about the pauses that FUT pulled through in the start of the previous map. About did it slow down their momentum? At that time, I thought it was pretty reasonable because they had some sloppy rounds. They saw those signs that things weren't going the way they wanted them to, and so they just take a moment to regather themselves. Here, though, surprising that they've decided not to go for it whatsoever. Instead, plowing forward. Maybe that speaks to faith in the game plan. Maybe it's Yedije having that Viper's Pit, so they don't need to discuss too much else. But we'll see. Heretics, what ideas have you got up your sleeve? By the way, CNED op is, I mean, it's been avoided for now, but it could be very, very dangerous.
It's something, well, it's definitely feared by many. You look back to that Champions winning roster, one of the best strats in the game. Steel will tell you, avoid CNED. It's a good strat. You see him, you go the other way. I think the FUT roster might have a little bit of extra depth. Oh, caught sleeping at the wheel.
He was just looking at the mini map, checking the stars were in the right place. It's okay.
We need eye trackers, then we'd know.
That's it.
Definitely not a waste of money or investment.
No,
nonetheless,
cheap too. That's a good thing, you know. So, it's a famously very cheap piece of technology. Now, Miniboo is trapped in the corner, but does he have a TP somewhere? Is there a gate crash? No. Right? There we go. It's on its way, so there wasn't. Thunder's Fury pulled through. Already up close is Miniboo. Rian's able to find one, but Miniboo's surprise attack isn't actually as much of a surprise as he would have thought. And with an off angle held by Captain, it has fallen apart for the side of Heretics.
Oh, a better round from them for sure. FUT finally starting to wake up a little bit. Mr. Fallen getting himself that little bit higher up the board, but also just having a very good read in that round. They had the rotations there quite quickly, the initial aggression successful, and Oh, that little bit of extra control garnered by that Viper's Pit allowed them to take a little bit more of a risk. Nonetheless, as I said, 6 rounds is already good for the side of Heretics. They're now looking to see what extra they can get. Dimensional Drift available to try and cause that little bit of extra havoc, but they do have CNED with the Overdrive available. And more importantly, the Thrash will be very useful if this comes down to a retake.
The captain's wise to get out of there. That TP, I think, even furred by the side of Heretics. They want nothing to do with long anyways, denying the control early, maybe seeing if there was some free space to be taken. But they'll slow it down afterwards, and then they faked me out even by starting to walk back away from this angle. But the call's made, they'll play close, they'll use the drone to clear all of these smokes, all these corners, and cleave out that control that they desperately need to make a play. Benji lurking on the other side of the map, and I like this. Will they suspect it? Or will they be caught by this bombardment that's soon to come in on B?
Who's
I think
next?
they're going to rotate back to A. That's the plan. TP afterwards. You see where the gate
Oh,
crashes?
there's so much info. He's definitely seen 2 players. If he's seen
There you go.
cracks at the back of the site, that's so much information, but there's a reason they're stacked up. It's CNED on the other side. I said there's a reason you avoid this man. Boo, at least even while stunned up, has been able to take him down. And also, they managed to clear out Miniboo. This leaves Boo as the last man standing. As said, they showed them 3 players. They had that information. When you have CNED on the other side of the map, you can play with that level of confidence. And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point FUT go, okay, well, there you go. They've already done it. They were like, we need that up back. Let's make sure we have it for the next round.
10 seconds left.
10 seconds. Economic state's not optimal on the side of Heretics. That rifle could help, especially in the hands of someone like Boo. Being so clean. Remember, he found CNED while he was stunned up, jumping into the angle, just one-tapped him. I think it was the second bullet, but I'll give it to him, considering this.
We didn't see the first one. And
True.
the replay is going to edit it out.
Yes, we don't highlight those things.
No, never, never.
This is nasty.
This was clean. I think that's the real benefit of those stuns as well. See, look, edited out. I told you.
Perfect.
You know, no one will ever know.
He got the headshot. It was
Exactly.
one bullet killed him. That's all you need to know back home. It's 6-4, and a timeout is.
Yeah, but Mini also said
I'll call it that till I die.
I'm good at the game, which so you can take that how you want.
That does sort of,
It devalues everything you just said.
I have to find another coach. Well, 6-4. Team Heretics, they've had a decent run at the attack side so far. This is certainly a bigger challenge. Losing 2 rounds in a row, now down to pistols, and with a rifle in the hands of Boo, saved over from the previous, this is their best chance. You know, your Astra player still having that rifle might raise some eyebrows, but if you've seen how this guy's played in the series so far, those eyebrows will quickly settle back into a normal position. Rians on the way with the drone. There's 3 players here. It's a standard enough setup. The thing that worries me, as always, is CNED's operator. Once that gets refocused, could be in big trouble.
They're opting to play into this once again. You can see the lurk from Benji, who might be pressured in a moment. The TP's through. It hasn't been massively successful. And again, it seems like Mr. Farland's ready for it. Yedajay does well, and while CNED, you mentioned it, eventually he's going to switch his... Yeah, he got there in the end. Edit out all the first shot, guys, don't forget.
Yep, just the last one in the highlights. Thank you. Appreciate you. And this is done for Benji. Look at Peek about to come in from heaven. He's tucked in. The barrel spot. Nope, barrel not
30
spotted.
seconds left.
Crash doesn't know where he is. Okay. I thought that timing was going to seal his fate, but no. He has a real chance.
Toxin screen down.
A chance to maybe try and bait them here. He's picked a spot that if his opponent was still in heaven, timing's going to be absolutely everything, and he makes his way back towards Lamps. Moving forward again. The information is going to be garnered because of how quickly they've cleared towards that defender spawn. Benji looking to play back through that smoke, and the info, oh, it's just going to grab him. They know he's around the Lamps position, maybe not how far forward he is, but Cracks is going to be there to clear him out in the end. A nice attempt in a round that we didn't have massively high expectations, but now 6-5. FUT have slowly been climbing their way back into this one. They were looking down and out moments ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think Good adaptations. Mr. Fallen, I think, even saw the gate crash as it was coming in, so he had a good idea. This was a round where Yoru was going to try that TP. He TPs in, and immediately Mr. Fallen is on his case, taking him down as he emerges from the smoke. Really nicely done, and you can see just looking at that scoreboard, it has been a struggle for Minibu to find any of that value. In the rounds where he has successfully TP'd, it's actually just been his teammates kind of rolling over the site and winning, and when he hasn't, well, it went like we just saw.
Interesting, an instant Cosmic Divide thrown in and a battle up in towards that B short position. There was a stack up there, even still CNED is still in position. I wonder if they'll opt to almost just avoid him at this point. So much utility being put in onto pressure. They know exactly where he is, hiding in the backlines. Yetajay has moved in, but it's not going to be enough. A solid half and a fast response from Team Heretics to get themselves that 7-5 lead.
Yeah, a very confident way to close out that half as well. Just getting in their face, taking those fights, and winning every single one of them. I like the idea from FUT to come pushing down through mid, but as you can see, they just didn't have the firepower to back it up when it came down to judgment time. Now look, I'm looking at round 13, pistol round. There's no
Lurk had been phenomenal, so I think
synergized much better.
This map, they still won the last one. Bear that in mind. Oh, instant though. The flash through, Rian's dealt with. Any drone or utility that he brought into this round is immediately gone. It's definitely going to be a little bit more difficult for them to find information, other than the knife, of course. For FUT now, I think they can be a little bit more patient. CNED was actually sent alone, and now Benji about to be under some serious pressure. I'd be surprised if he won that one. Boo has got to hit the aim labs once again, and he's already been forced back.
It's tough. When Minibu spotted as well, there's no element of surprise. Now it's up to FUT how they dice up this dish and how they deal with it, but it's not looking good. Minibu, 3 kills coming in. Now he's on 5, looking a lot better. Or on 6, in fact. A sneaky kill along the way. FUT have turned tail, moved towards the other side of the map, but still the full HP player of Patatek is waiting and waiting and waiting because he's allowing his teammates to wrap, and I like this decision. No over-aggression from him.
The only problem they have is they're so low on HP. A couple of tap bullets from CNED, and he knows that someone has come from this position. Such a high impact kill as well from Mr. Fallen. And the thing is, just the information of that TB being thrown, they know that the other players have gone towards long. There's nowhere else they could have gone. The fake teleport likely been spotted as well, so they know that everything's coming from the other direction, but that might be the 3rd kill that I didn't expect Minibu to win, and he somehow has. They're going to hear that player jumping through, and he hits every single shot. Minibu on fire. And well, you mentioned his kills from the last half. He's just doubled them.
He's not done too poorly there, has he? Certainly a fresh-faced Minibu coming into this half with the pistol in his hand. He is deadly. Look at this. And it's the selection of targets. Now, I think when he swung around, if I'm not mistaken, Yetajay was actually in a snakebiter. He just tapped it, so not going to make it much easier for him. But still, a remarkable performance. Hey, there it is.
I need that face, like, it's screenshotted from Neil.
Oh, yeah. Neil's relieved. Weber's still sat there going, I could do better. I could do better.
Hey, you know, he did pretty well last year. He was a super sub.
Oh, those shots.
Back away, Benji. Back away.
One dead on. He's staying, though. Oh, he doesn't give a damn. He's willing to fight for this. Orb down.
Well, where else do you go with the judge?
I mean, inside of Lambs. Luka would work.
He's seen
this
it.
is risky,
He knows.
but it's worked, and it's worked so well for Benji. Even allowing Rians to pick up another. He can just back off, give that space, but he's surrounded. Players on each side, smoke on the left. He's isolated and has to take both of these fights at once. That's not easy. As you can see, the result is as expected.
Still the rifle of
I have the spot. Toxins going up.
Minibu looking to rain death down from above. They've also got Boo with, honestly, if anyone I want with a Guardian right now, it's him.
One suppressed.
They already know that a player has crossed their way back into Lambs. The thing is, again, we know how much can be done
Poison's off.
by the side of FUT in these sort of scenarios. Swapping places makes sense as well, having that judge to just hold on to Lambs, but the fact is they're looking to clear things from the other angle. Wrap back around. Adacaptain almost a little bit lucky that he missed that one. Could have been caught blind within the corner, but instead holding just on the edge of the spike. Needs a miracle and not going to find one. Again, it will be Heretics to convert themselves the round, and They get up to 9.
This is getting very worrying. I don't want to hear what Blaze has to say after this one. He's going to be...
He's just going to laugh. He's just going to laugh in your face. It's all right. At least there isn't like a little communal area outside all of the caster booths where you're definitely going to
see him.
Yeah. Maybe you can jump.
Oh, wow.
It's not that far.
Look at that. Now, we talked earlier about how even when FUT were winning some rounds, they were not happy. They were not happy with the level of play that was being brought. That's when they were winning.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a little bit of a different energy brought in the backstage, but it's exactly what you expect. This is frustrating for a team that has cemented themselves as one of the best in Europe, one of the best in the world. And now, Heretics are coming in and performing what is, I mean, an understatement to call it an upset so far. Oh, Miniboo, what are you cooking here? TP into their spawn, push up, info gathered, and this is just a late TP. That's so far away. Maybe Yedege can hear it. No, I think he's just slightly too far away. Yedege is even creating more distance. This could get very worrying if Miniboo's actually able to sneak up behind them. Oh, it's so, this is disgusting. This is disgusting. Why would they ever check this? They are insane.
Oh, and it's out of captain as well.
It's smokes down. The timing wasn't quite right, though. CNED's still alive, and Miniboo's a little trapped, but he's got a TP to get out of here eventually.
That's the thing, though. He's also just a nuisance. Yeah. That's something that's going to be back of their mind the entire round. And they still have to deal with the rest. But Benji caught out, not expecting anybody to be that far forward.
Spike planted.
Yedege going to turn back, but he loses life as well. Miniboo really has started to come alive in this second half. Wary of their own flank, but this has now just become a game of hide and seek with both teams being the seekers. Neither realizing where the other might be. Krax is completely caught, stuck in the corner, but he will just about be able to escape an opponent on the other side. It's labored, but he still manages to win the fight. And both players coming in from the corner. Again, it's a weaker weaponry, but Boo landing the headshot leaves it all onto Mr. Fun, and he just can't miss. This man is hitting every shot placed in front of him, even with a teammate detained. He will win out that round.
This is absolutely outrageous. Having that 2v2, time on your side, Thrash to play with, positions unknown as well. And coming out on top is Team Heretics. I could watch that back 5 times. I still wouldn't understand how Miniboo gets away with everything he does. Taking down the smokes in the first place, sure. But that TP, I'm 90% sure they heard it. And that shot, it's more ridiculous the second time.
It's so clean.
Boo is currently 19 kills and 5 deaths on Boo. Like,
he hasn't died this half.
That's true. That's true. How is that true, Tom? How?
He is playing out of his mind. He has been in the AIM Lab server the entire time we've been away, it seems.
Couple months in there. Surprised his wrists haven't ground down to ash at this point.
Either way, under pressure here. FUT, they've shown comebacks. Think back to Convergence. They were able to turn some pretty big deficits. And Yedege has found a couple of high-impact kills. Ones that they needed. Viper's Pit as well available, and he's going to use it to lock down that defender spawn. Still gives Miniboo a little bit of space out from Heaven, but he needs something a little bit lucky, I feel, to clear out that spot.
Good shot by Benji, but he's only got Miniboo alongside him. Fighting into that Viper's Pit, not going to be easy. They need to find the Viper. That's a hard task. Nice shot on Ada Captain. He was emerging from that pit for some reason. One I'll not be able to understand for quite a while. Benji Fishy caught. That was a risk by Yedege, but it has most certainly paid off. And with that, we might just have the round secure. Diffusing already halfway. Miniboo, someone needs to peek him. Someone needs to check, and eventually they will. Another round found for the side of FUT. The path to recovery begins here.
Yeah, good round from Yedege. They're coming up big, getting that Viper's Pit. He locks down defense. I guess Ada Captain's push was mainly due to the fact that the spike wasn't planted for them. So it just felt like he needed to get a little bit of extra ground to get some eyes on it. And with his teammates so desperately low, it kind of makes sense, but almost cost them. Even still, though, this is a fairly long road to recovery. Heretics have got off to a flyer of the start. Again, this time they're the ones to win both pistols, and I mentioned it, and obviously the opposite happens. Boo's now had his first death of this second half.
Kill Boo, win a round. Okay. He has died 6 times.
Concealment.
And FUT have 6 rounds.
There you go. Just kill him. Just do it. He's in the TP as well. You'd even maybe expect this to be a ruse. You're not expecting someone to TP at the beginning of the round. There you go. Like Mr. Vaughn is not ready for that trade to come through. Keeps things even, at least for now, and Ada Captain actually going to decide to get out of there, but Benji had already aggressed.
Oh, that's the decoy put through as well. They'll be a little bit more confident that the stack is on B, that these players are not defending quite the same way on A, with the same power, the same numbers, but instead, they're wrong. Benji, snake bite in, it's landed, it's headshot the diffuser. In fact, I think Benji loses his life, gives it up for what could be a trade, and well, a little bit unfortunate for Miniboo that his TP is so far away. Obviously, it's a rotate to B, but he can just go straight back through the TP, but it's being waited for. Ada Captain's here, Flash has caught him, he's forced into a corner, it's not cleared though, and so Ada Captain finally takes down Miniboo, puts an end to the Yoru storyline.
Got obscuring
It
vision.
leaves Boomerang's one away from a Hunter's Fury, but can't really expect that to be used at this stage. Paranoia hits perfect, absolutely perfect. The easiest kill CNED's ever going to have. Two players completely blind, nearsighted, into a corner. A FUT now start that grind back. A long road to recovery, but as said, we saw it when they played Vitality in the off-season. They did it in 2 maps back-to-back, so if you're on the Heretics side, I almost wonder, even if they manage, if they lose this next round, I might be looking at a pause just to try and stem any bleeding as quickly as possible, because you do not want them to have some momentum. I can tell if there's a Heretics match you're not casting, you're going to be up there with them.
Absolutely.
Unless it's against Enzo.
Oh, that's going to get tough. That's going to get tough, but I want to see my kids fight. Well, the B side is certainly getting a little bit noisy, but, well, it's all a ruse that's ended up burning up a Hunter's Fury. They thought maybe they were all outside B long, but no. The plan was to take it to A all along. Yedajay managing the trade on Boo. That's a big player to drop, let me tell you. Wouldn't have said that coming into today, but, well, things change. They know for a fact that Benji Fishy's around here. They will not let him breathe. No moment of solace. No retreat. Flash on. Miniboo can stay behind the box, so he's nice and safe for now, and he's got the ultimate to get on out of there. His teammate's not so lucky. Doesn't want to get caught here. I mean, it's a risky TP if he was to actually commit.
He's blinded himself.
Doesn't matter. He's nice and safe away in lamps. Well,
He's the only one.
teammates aren't.
Being picked apart still, the 1v2. Not out of his grasp. He's managed to cross over. That might be a bit of a surprise, but now the tap has given things away. Still so passive at this stage that they're not really going to give anything for him to fight back into. And for, again, they're going to continue that rise back into this one. Maybe even going to try and find him on the way back out, but Miniboo, well, he shouldn't be over-peeking, over-facing. And again, I expect fairly soon that Heretics are going to take themselves a pause, because the last few rounds have been a lot more brute force. Now, I have to give credit, like, Ada Captain right now, top of the board, but also 13 assists. And we have seen so many Paranoias that, in this attack side especially, have just brutalized players. They haven't been able to do anything.
Yeah, very true. I think, you know, for the side of FUT, especially having CNED on a Neon, you can only imagine as these...
Previous map that has been the better of the two.
For Heretics is rough. Benji Fishy not likely to use the Viper's Pit in this round at least. Probably save for the next. I'm not too surprised to see him getting aggressive when you've got these weaknesses. So many players waiting on the other side of that. Don't think he'll be quite suspecting that. Smoke goes up. Now they're looking to take the space. They're thinking about it. The paranoia is in.
So
again,
much.
the value found is so good. That utility from FUT has been something to write home about. Good shot by Miniboo, but that's where it ends.
See, I mentioned at the beginning the triple flash potential. I didn't expect they'd use them all at once. Like that was just disgusting. I think it was actually he might have been hit by the knife, but even still, it's just, you got no abilities. You're blinded by 2 different things. You're just stuck in a corner. There was absolutely no hope.
And there's stuff on your screen, so
Yeah.
you can't even see what's close to you. It's tough.
It's a nasty combo. But that's the thing. It's like, in these sort of rounds, FUT are being extra careful. They don't want to give anything over. And CNED, well, if he starts or continues to hit shots like that, well, the comeback may already be done. 10-9, FUT 4 rounds in a row. But this is the round that pause will have been for. Like, okay, maybe you gave a small part of it, like, okay, we could gamble this, but this is ultimately the round where you look at and say, okay, now we have those expectations of what can we change, what can we do? Do we try something a little bit more aggressive? Do we try taking some control away? Because that's something they were quite happily doing in some of the earlier rounds, was maybe fighting for some of that control. But it does again seem like FUT being a little bit more direct. And actually, they're going straight through this pit, challenging immediately. That was way too close.
I love that idea, though. From CNED just going straight in, spamming the angle that you pretty much know he's going to be on. And it was only the bullets missing by a couple of pixels that leave Team Heretics with all this control over A. With a position that, honestly, FUT are not likely to challenge. They've tried, it didn't work, now it's time to take it elsewhere. And it looks like B site, through lamps for now, through hookah rather, is going to be the play. That's what they're telling them. They made some noise, they popped off some shots, and now the shift back. You know, I really didn't think they would want to play into this. I wonder how much they can realistically get done if they do push the Viper's pit. Now that Yedijay's down, though, that option seems to be gone.
Evidently, their opponents did see that coming because they had 2 players still at the backside of A. They put that down almost as bait. Now, they do have themselves the null command on this side. Heretics has to be a little bit more careful with it, and CNED is going straight through onto the site. The high pace take, the pre-fire from Rian's not quite going to find anything, and that after plant does look likely. No ultimates to play with just yet, but if Krax is the one to actually do the plant, he's not. Could see him get his ult online from a kill, though.
Back to me.
Well, we've already seen a number of ultimates.
This makes things awkward.
It's a seriously heavy play from Team Heretics. Boo using his Cosmic Divide, blocking them out, giving them a tough angle to play with. Mr. Fallen can't get through. Mini Boo could see his head, though. Nice return by CNED, but that defuse could be on the way. They need to get through that wall and stop it. And they have not succeeded, not by a long shot. I would say right under their nose. It was more in their face. Obviously, when that divide goes down, the defuse is coming through, but it's also so difficult to get back into the site.
Well, yeah, it was a change from a while ago. It feels like a lifetime ago now that obviously you don't hear anything through the Cosmic Divide anymore. In the past, you might have heard the spike tapped or given a little bit extra, but the fact is now it's nada, it's nothing. So obviously they know that. They needed to make some space, but it's again just this distraction, this dysfunctional Yoru play of just like, I'm going to do the craziest thing you can think of. I'm going to pop your head just with the millimeter that was thrown through. Again, this defensive side, this is what I like to see. That little bit of extra aggression, but that ultimate from the last round is being used immediately. And while, unfortunately for Miniboo, he's caught the one player he didn't want to. Oh.
I mean, Krax is down, but they can get him back up. Can't even be denied from this side. This is a tough one if you're Team Heretics. They've come in with a good previous round and been shut down immediately. Benji Fishy, the last man standing, 1 versus 5, and that save is undoubtedly coming through. And that's the problem with a side like FUT. They have this ability to just go back, cock it, load it, and fire onto your site. And not many teams have the stopping power to deal with that.
Sometimes it genuinely looks like Cedar's just playing like a Spike Crush or something. He's just like, I'm just going to go bouncing around the map for a little bit. I'm looking the last guy down. See if I can find him. I won't lie, I believed that Cedar was going to pop his head while just sprinting. But I just believed that he was still going to find that. Benji trying his best to hold on to the gun. The finances really not great at this stage. Oh, just about managing to dodge it, but Anna Captain will go through that teleport. But continue this resurgence, this run back, and the fact is the one round that they managed to win was based off a fair few of those ultimates being used. Miniboo at least has the dimensional drift, but for that to be a round-changing ultimate, he's going to have to do something unbelievable.
One enemy remaining.
Haven't got that breach stun or anything to react with like we saw before from CNED, where he's able to spot players in the dimensional drift and do something serious. You know, I think this side of FUT looks really, really nicely set up to push this at least to connecting an OT. Low money on the side of Heretics. Very weak investments. The judge isn't too much of a surprise, especially with the ult in play. But Rienz doesn't have a dimensional drift. He's just insane. He's playing a bookie.
How dare you?
Shot in the face.
How dare you do little bro like that?
I'll say after they've heard that, I don't know that they're going to want to come anywhere near this position.
To be honest, if it was a judge, I'd agree. With a Bucky, I'm almost like, if I'm CNED, which obviously I'm not, I'm just like, oh, I'll take him. Rienz, he's got to fall back. I think probably already spotted towards the corner, and Boo is going to get caught. The thing is, the Detain doesn't last a mass amount of time.
Oh!
What is that from Benji? A real chance for them to actually take this now. One of the rifles in, and a captain. The flash is solid, but no one really goes off the back of it. And the Buckies managed to find a kill. Now CNED, look at the spike.
It's out.
Look at the spike. It managed to get past them.
I thought CNED would go to the TP. He's going out on site. This guy's crazy. He's insane. It's worked out. He's bought them time.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought he had a flank. Maybe they knew the rotate was coming through.
Yeah,
Like that.
I think maybe he just expected, okay, at least a couple of them will know this has gone the other way at this point. So I'll try and do as much damage as possible. Now it's left. All onto Mr. Farland.
Missed the TP.
The IGL, we know that he can lead by example at times. He needs to try and find this, but already spotting out one of the players. I think he will have heard the footsteps of both, though. Definitely at this stage, there should be the information that both players are here, and he's tried to bait them into going the other way on that wraparound, looking to come in from behind. A chance against the first, not quite there with the second, though. Heretics will make it to 12 once again, one away from an upset in that first matchup.
Unbelievable, with 2 chances to close it out and having just one off the back of, well, nothing. You know, they had a Bucky
They've done
get a
this
kill
so
that
many
round.
times.
It's getting ridiculous at this point, even despite CNED really putting up his best fight. You see it in the end, right after the round finishes. Yes. And you know, it's looking to Krax's face. He is shocked. He is stunned by what they're witnessing, by what they're experiencing on the other side. Yeah, it was, because he doubled in the pistol.
He's done all right in the second half.
I didn't catch a total. What's
He's
the
on
total?
20.
That's not bad. Yeah, decent. Well, Boo's up for another. He's already opened it up. CNED again. His one-on-one opening duels with CNED have been crazy. That wall's going to drop. Benji fishing up close. 30 HP, but some value can be found. It's Boo that finds it instead. Honestly, the guy's got no initiating utility. He's got something coming in there. Again, a great assist from Patatek, but it just shouldn't happen. Patatek on another. Things are looking very good for Heretics to close this out here and now. Krax, who's had, as we said, uncharacteristically quiet game, is now going to be relied on with the spike carrying into the site. He's dropped Boo. Patatek's fallen. Do they expect the second player here? The flash will give it away. Minipoo, they now know that he's here. Decoy gone out. It's through the wall. They'll shoot it. They'll break it. They knew that he was behind, but couldn't react in time. The drone coming out from spawn gives them all the information. At this moment, FUT know where both of their opponents are. They need to make a decision. Going to the TP means crossing Minipoo. Not a wise decision, especially when Yedajay's 1 HP. And now that final tick of health is all that stands between Team Heretics and taking their opening series, starting this year in a way that's evaded them on stage time and time again since this roster was put together not that long ago. Hell of an opening to the VCT season, and hell of a start for Yedajay if he can, first of all, dodge those shock darts and now close out the game. Oh, and a wild spam from Riens closes it out, 13-10.
Yeah, the man that may not be at home. The fact is, though, he wasn't the star of the show today. You better watch out. What can